talking about conspiracies and series. I told you guys I watched this I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Seaspiracy or Seaspiracy?
Seaspiracy, yeah.
Seaspiracy.
So
I
it's
think it's Seaspiracy.
basically it's a conspiracy about the sea. Right. So I don't know if you guys have watched it.
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Oleg,
Well, there's been a lot of noise about it.
But I did see that, like, on the news feed, there's a lot of debate. It's spurred a lot of debate in terms of, like, people are coming out saying, "Oh, it's not factual," But I believe, like, after watching a trailer, like, the whole feel of this documentary is that it wants us to treat the sea life as wildlife, as we would treat wildlife, antelopes and kurus, but obviously sea equivalent. It's not like stock food type of thing.
Yeah, no, that's right. Absolutely. Look, I mean, after watching the documentary, I mean, there were some stats in there that like really, really blew my mind. In the sense that I'd never heard these stats quoted before, which I mean does raise the concern because I mean when you watch the documentary, it comes out that this whole single-use plastic drive is misplaced because the biggest problem around the plastic in the sea is not coming from the single-use plastic that we are trying to target in terms of eliminating, right?
Yeah. What plastic is that? Because, like, I saw, like, pictures even a while back of these piles of rubbish, floating around in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah,
we're talking about huge piles of rubbish.
Yeah. So I mean, he does refer to that, which is called the Pacific something or whatever, and basically what it is it's this big mass of plastic in the middle of the ocean.
3 times the size of France.
Okay, there you go.
That is insane.
That's huge.
That is insane.
But I'm not saying that single-use plastic is not a problem. I'm just saying percentage-wise, it's not the biggest part. It's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem, shock, horror, here we go, is that the plastic fishing nets are the biggest source of plastic pollution in the sea. So if you were to go to that Pacific plastic mass in the middle of nowhere, I can't remember what the percentage was there. It was something like 46% of the plastic that's there are plastic fishing nets.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, and then the sort of like the organizations that are promoting no single-use plastic and all this kind of stuff and, raising money and to eliminate this and whatever. The actual problem is it's misplaced. That money's not going to the right place. Or put it this way, people don't have the right information when they're donating that money. I mean, the other thing that blew my mind was the amount of sharks that are killed. So, I mean, the other thing that I never thought about, but I mean, it's obvious when you watch the documentary, is that you get this large amount of collateral damage when you, let's say they're fishing for bluefin tuna, as an example. The kind of wildlife that they pull up in that net, over and above the bluefin tuna, is astronomical. They're catching sharks. They're catching like whales, or they're catching dolphins. And that kind of stuff.
That is crazy.
But the problem is, right, is that they get caught up in the net and they die, right, before they've been able to, before they can get returned back to the sea. And all they do is they just dump them over the side of the ship. Okay, like they didn't survive. So you're losing a lot of sea life as a result of that. And then in addition to that, I mean, you just look at the number of sharks that are being killed per hour. They're talking between 11,000 and 30,000 sharks per hour
that
are getting killed. I mean, I've never heard this stat before in my life. Like, no one talks about it.
Have you got the stat around how many people are bitten by sharks or killed by sharks versus how many sharks we kill?
Yeah, all those 12 people per year are killed by sharks. They are killing, the 50 million sharks are dying per year.
50 million.
Yeah, so, and these are killed by what they call bycatch, which is obviously scooped up accidentally while fishing. Yeah. And obviously there's a big industry.
That's the scale of, I mean, we know the oceans are big and everyone goes, well, what's the context of 50 million? How many sharks are there in the sea?
Yeah.
But if this has been going on for a while and we haven't known about it and there's no end in sight, this is the problem.
Yeah.
We take out an apex predator. We're effectively changing
the whole ecosystem.
The whole ecosystems of the oceans.
Exactly.
And that kills the ocean or has a side effect that we're not even ready for.
And then that brings me to the other revelation that I had, which I didn't know, was that the coral, what manages or deals with 80% of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So when
everyone
you're talking
thinks
about
Amazon forest, but actually it's the seas that we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the coral and the sea life is slowly but surely getting wiped out.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the biggest problem when it comes to global warming and managing CO2, you know, over and above obviously the stuff that we're creating and the fact that we're cutting the trees and the forest down and all that kind of stuff.
So my question is, right, did they mention in terms of like at the rate things are going, the fishing is going, global fishing is going,
like when it's going to end?
How much time do we have until
2048?
Yeah, 2048.
It's like 30 years away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
now you have to watch this.
Yeah, I have to watch this.
So I mean,
in my scuba diving years, if I'd noticed the impact of fishing and such, because I always went to nice places to go scuba diving, you know, Maldives, and it's packed full of sea life. But then I went diving in the Mediterranean. Yeah, I went to Med, but that
Mediterranean.
I think the Caribbean, around the Caribbean, was interesting. Where there were marine reserves that were protected areas from fishing, they had life. The coral was good, but where there was no marine reserve, dead coral, no fish, dolphins fighting over small food that's out there. It's barren. It's barren, and I'd seen that in the space of 8 years.
That's amazing. Yeah, so
it's more place, and it could be other effects, but yeah, I mean, there'll be nothing to go and see when you go diving in 30 years.
Yeah, well, but I mean, based on the documentary, if we were to believe what's everything that's in there, I mean, you know, even when you go diving in 30 years, you know, I don't even think you're going to be alive in 30 years, kind of thing. No, I can't. There's a bit of exaggeration. But what I'm saying,
exaggerating.
Yeah, a bit of hyperbole there. I'm being hyperbolic. Is that the right word? No. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is that like you can say that because of this and the deterioration in a couple of years, when you go diving, you're actually not going to be able to see the stuff anymore. But the impact of that not being there is a lot bigger than just you know, it doesn't look so great under sea anymore. Yeah, I don't know, but I was shocked at the numbers of sharks that we've been getting killed. Yeah, I was just
that's insane. Like you guys said, like thousands and thousands a day. I mean, it's crazy, and it's not like they're hunting for them. It's just collateral damage, like you said. It's insane to have collateral damage like that.
Well, look, I mean, it is a reality that they do catch sharks for shark fin soup and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that is like organized okay, we're going to go out and get sharks for a particular purpose. But the majority of the sharks that are getting killed are by this bycatch situation,
Yeah.
where they're getting
And
caught up in
did they elude in terms of like, these farms that
yeah, they did. They
basically
spoke about that.
Is that-
it's a
is that a-
problem. They
is that
say
a problem or is it a solution?
no, it's a problem. They say it's worse than not having them, because of the fact that I don't know if you can remember, Lester. It's got to do with the fact that they are contained in a particular area, and the natural environment is not occurring because they're contained in these like pens or whatever,
Like
and
lakes.
sort of like the waste and all of that coming from the fish actually creates there's disease and all that kind of stuff.
They are diseased, yeah.
Yeah.
If you think that salmon should be pink, actually the farmed fish, salmon, their natural color is grey. They
Grey.
actually have to add dye to it to make it appealing.
Yeah, and you can choose what color you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy, guys.
Yeah.
I'm scared to watch it because then like I really enjoy seafood, but like that most likely will
Yeah.
turn me off seafood for a while.
How
Yeah,
many
well,
sharks were caught in the making of your seafood?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
No, I think
and I mean,
they go into a lot of things, right? And I think you need to watch it just so you can ask yourself the questions. And yeah, there's a lot of stats, and it takes you on a journey, this guy's journey, with what he's realized. And of course, you can throw stones at it, but the underlying thing is there is a problem, and how do we choose to address that problem? Because it is still salvageable, but I just don't think mankind has got it in them.
So you think we're not going to have any places to dart by 2050?
Not unless something radically happens.
mm.
And this is the challenge. And they'll go into it. You got to watch it. They'll go
Well,
into
I just hope that this documentary has allowed people now to start asking the questions and start, raise the awareness around what the issues actually are, and what really needs to be tackled to start addressing the big problem. Because I think we're focusing in the wrong place. Based on what the guy says in that documentary, the money and the effort is being misplaced. Yeah.